Hi and welcome to another tutorial from Blender Insight and also a new pattern. So I think that we should do this floor pattern here where we have squares that are like tangled into each other, so they are like intersecting on each corner here. And my idea of this is just to make this square and then use like a mask to filter out the parts that should be covered by another square. So let's start right away by adding a normal way to create a tile, which is a texture coordinate first. So Shift A, input, and we have a texture coordinate. And right now it looks like this. So we have 0 here and 1 here. And we add a scale. So Shift A, go to converter, vector math, put in the scale. Can put it to like 5 or something, and we do a fraction, and as soon as we do the fraction you have tiles. And the next step, since a square is symmetrical, is to move this to the center, and we do that by a subtract and a multiply. So I just copy this twice, Shift D, and change it to subtract and change it to multiply, put this to 0.5 and put this to 2. And now we have a -1, a +1, and we change everything into positive by changing this to an absolute or adding an absolute. So Shift D, copy this one, put in an absolute, and now we have something to work with. So now I can separate X and Y, so I drag out and write separate X, Y, Z. And here we can put in something like minimum, so Shift A, converter, math, and minimum. We can also use a maximum, it doesn't matter. Yes, so we get these tiles in some way. So now we have these tiles in, and the next step we need to do is to change it into white and black like we have here. And you can do that in different ways, but I think we can just use a modular. So I copy this one, Shift D, and put in a floor modular. And now we calculate how many times we should do this. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 black and white here in total. So we can take this 1 divided by 6. So we do it like this. And then half should be white and half should be black. So we can just take and do a less than or greater than. So Shift D. Try greater than here, and take this value and just divide it by 2. And now we can see it went too many here, so we just take this up a bit, I think. So we do this times 3 instead. We just calculate the white or the black. So 1 divided by 3, and this will be 1 divided by 6. And yeah, that works. So if we use that calculation, we have it here, and that we have right now is good to use for the second square, because you can see here it starts here with that angle here, but here it starts with another one. So to make the other one, we just add a subtract after this. So Shift D and do a subtract of 1 here, or put 0, whatever. If you just move it 1 step in the top here, you move the squares. So we could just copy this one and just combine them. So I can just do copy, but I drag this without. So now we have one that looks like this, and we have one like that looks like this. And now we need to combine them in some way. So we need to create a mask, and in this case it will be like a checker pattern, and you can of course use the checker pattern if you want to and just connect that to the scale, but that's a bit boring, so I will do it by some math instead. So I just take this and then I do a scale again and put that to 2, because I need to have it split for half of a square here. So if I have 5 squares, I need to split it 10 times. So I add a scale here, which in this case will be like a multiply by 2. And then I can just add like a floor. So then I get rid of all the decimals. And after that I can add a modulo of 2. So then it looks like this. If I just go and press Shift A, go to output just to show you material output, and put this to 2 and this to 2. We have this now. And now we need to convert this into something. And the easiest way to do such a conversion that we have just black and white is first to separate, and then we can use like a compare. So if I press Shift A here, go to converter, separate XYZ, put that in, and then I put in a converter or a compare here. So Shift A, converter, math, and a compare. See if I can find that one. There we have it. And compare these, you get a checker pattern. It doesn't matter so much what you put here, so you can just leave it as it is. It just compares X and Y together, and we get out this. And that is exactly the type of mask that we need for combining these things here. So we can just multiply the result with what we have up here. So if I just take away the material output here, since we already have it up here, and add a multiply. So Shift A, converter, math, and I put in this as a multiply, and drag the compare here, then I get this. Now I need a checker to be in the other direction as well. So I need to have this white and this black and this white and so on. So we can put that on this one. And that is just to do an invert of color here. So we can just put in invert color. And we put this to color. So we have it like this. So if I had used this one, you can see we then start here. So we can use that for the top if we want to. And then we can take the other one to the bottom. So we can just copy this, Shift D. So then we have the second one. And then we use the other mask on that one. So that one looks like this. So now it's just to combine them, and that we can use normal add. So Shift A, convert the math. And we put in add here. And you are now finished. So that is how you do it, and you can now of course change the scale and everything, and it will work really fine. And if you would like to make more out of this pattern, then you can just add some math that controls this modulo to get more or less of these black and white lines. So then it's just to press in Shift A, input value like this. And let's say that you write 6 here. Then you can divide that. So Shift A, converter, math, and put in a divide, for instance. Put that to 1 and put this to 6. And then you can just drag it here, and you can drag it here. So we have it. And then you can take this value, and as you can see here, that is bigger than that one. So then you just take this value that we have here and multiply by 2. So Shift D, multiply by 2, put that in here, and use that for the first floored modulo here. So put that in here and put that in here. And as soon as you've done that, then you can play with this. So you can make more or less amount of black and white lines here to make it however you want. So that is one easy way to change this, and now you know how to do this type of pattern here. So hopefully you learned something today as well, and I say as usual, see you later and bye for now.